many people in the world who really don't understand. Freedom has many difficulties, but we have never had to put a wall up to keep our people in. Freedom is indivisible. And when one man is enslaved, all are not free.
Modern war has become a struggle for men's minds as well as for their bodies. Today we face an enemy who spends enormous sums of money and manpower all over the globe in an attempt to subvert the thinking of the people of the free world, confuse, divide, and ultimately to subjugate.
It is a contest unlike any we have ever faced in our history as a nation.
Contest for the minds and hearts of people around the world, all people.
When power corrupts, poetry cleanses. We must never forget that art is not a form of propaganda. It is a form of truth.
Psychologists find that control of emotions can be gained by understanding the stimulus-response pattern. Many everyday things become associated with these primary stimuli, partly by a process called conditioning.
It's a strange, shadowy world. The doctored photographs, the misquotation, the insinuation, and the lie.
I think of fire in connection with emotion. Cause, effect.
You've got to get a hold of yourself.
We have to work together. You have to help.
We'll light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world.
Yes, in modern warfare, our military leaders are finding that words and ideas are highly effective weapons.
Can you guys hear me now? Let me know. Will you say something in chat if you can hear me? Oh, okay. Yes. Yes. All right. I'm not sure what happened there. I might have to start over. Let me start over. I apologize about that. I don't know what happened there. That's horrible. I am really sorry about that. All right. So I did say, welcome to Questions Worth Pondering, where we pose questions related to current and historical events. And I'm your host, Nevs. In today's episode, we're going to ask, what's up with the fog? And we're going to talk about current events. And there's a lot to cover. So what I had said when you couldn't hear me is we could potentially have part 1 of 2. Just because there's so much to cover. And please be sure to give this video a like or a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Consider supporting me by leaving a Rumble rant here on Rumble while we're live. You can subscribe or you can buy me a coffee. On Nevlanders, you can donate directly to me without it being seen anywhere else. So that's available on my store, but all my links are at linktree/NevsTV. I really, really appreciate the support. Let's dig in, shall we? And I was saying hi to you guys. So we have Little Wolf and In God We Trust and Carrie and Pocket Friend. So good to see you guys. Yay. Hype. Oh, you've got the hype. You know what? I do have hype. Here's my hype. Yay, my sound's working. You know, I'm just a super professional here with nobody helping me. So I don't know what happened. Technical difficulties. You guys know, as you guys know, that happens sometimes. I wonder if one of the things I'm going to be covering tonight is going to be under attack. I don't know. We'll see. All right. I think I'll start with current events because the fog thing is going to be a lot. And I actually am going to have I have a companion article almost finished that I'm going to post related to the fog and asking that question. It's going to be super fascinating. But there's a lot going on in the world. A lot going on. So let's cover some of that first. We'll see how much I'll try to go quickly. But there's a lot. And did you guys, wasn't that beginning video just so epic? That was another ad from the Army to try to recruit. And what's interesting about that is Pepe Deluxe posted that video this morning. And I'm like, I had a different video I was going to play tonight. And I'm like, that one is actually very appropriate for some of the stuff I'm going to cover. And so I grabbed it. And I'm like, I'm going to use this as my intro. A few hours later, one of my friends, sent me a link to how the Ghost Army of World War II, because that's when it became a thing, how it saved thousands of lives. So I was going to really quick cover that because I find it interesting. I don't know if you guys know the history of the Ghosts in the Machine, the Ghost Army, but I'm going to share that. I'll share a little bit of that. So just checking comments. Oh, Stormy Days, you're on YouTube. Hey, Stormy, it's good to see you. I actually post directly in my StreamYard to talk to you. I'm so glad you're with us tonight. Thank you. All right, so we're going to talk about what's up or how the Ghost Army of World War II saved thousands of lives. It's really fascinating. So the Epoch Times put out an article a few months ago, and also the Army has a write-up on the history of the Ghost Army. And so I'm going to go through just a few things that I highlighted in here because I think it's really interesting. Look at this medallion. This medallion has that ghost, you know. Everybody's getting the hats and the t-shirts, and I should actually put that on a t-shirt in my store. I didn't even think about that. I'm going to do that. So this is a congressional medal given to the members of the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, and I think it's pretty darn cool. The Ghost Army of World War II. So anyway, the Ghost Army, they went in. Maybe I won't just like read my highlights. Well, maybe I'll do that, and then I'll just tell the story just from me reading these two articles. But they talk about how there was nothing between the Ghost Army and Germans but their hopes and prayers. So the Ghost Army was actually created from a couple of guys back in 1944. It started, but they started talking about it in 1943. And one of these guys used to be a journalist, and he was a big ideas man. He had no problem like lying just to get what he wanted. He was like a shenanigans guy. And then the other guy that started with him was like a straight guy, like followed things to the letter. He went to West Point, you know, he was straight and narrow. And these two guys had gotten together. It was already known in the armed forces during World War II that, you know, you had to have strategies to fake out the enemy. Well, they took that to a completely different level, an epic level with the Ghost Army. So they had what they called the Conrad's unit. So what they did was they melded 4 different like army units together. And the thing I've highlighted here is how do they do it? Deception. But what they did was they had no weaponry except for 50.50 caliber machine guns. They had some guns basically, but they were able to hold off huge tanks and weaponry and forces for 8 days in 1944. And they did it through deception. It's really fascinating what they did. I'm actually going to open up the Army one because, and I'm sure you've heard some of this, but if you see this guy standing in front of the tank, this tank is not a real tank. So what they did was they did a whole bunch of deception. They had a bunch of fake tanks. They made themselves look like they were a huge army coming in order to distract the enemy so that the real forces going in from the opposite side would be able to go in safely and surprise the enemy. And what I find really interesting about that is, I'm going to open up this image. I want you guys to see this image. So they did plans and what these plans look like. Now, do you recall, sometimes we say what makes a good movie? Good actors, and we talk about enjoying the show and all of that kind of stuff. Well, that's what this Ghost Army does. They put on a show. And this was their plans that were written up. It was really interesting that they have the colonel and the staff. They called them producers and directors, like stars. Then they had the business, like a box office and housekeeping. Then they had scenery. So they had props. They had shoulder patches, fake guns, costumes, fake tanks. They wrote scripts, and they would do radio communications that were fake communications. They would do certain scenarios and have a dialogue between each other. They'd be fake operators, radio operators. And they would even have camouflage planes, but they would purposely make it so they weren't camouflaged very well so the enemy could see them. And anyway, and then they said they had like stage hands and guards and spear carriers. So they did this whole planning just like you would do a show. They had sound effects and offstage noises. So they would do different sound effects and that kind of stuff. This was a strategy to win World War II. And this is probably what made them win World War II and prevent a bunch of casualties, basically. It's super fascinating, but Stormy said she tried to do Rumble, but it wouldn't play. Oh, I'm not sure what's going on there, Stormy. I don't know if you're on the phone or computer, but if you're on the phone, you might need to restart your phone. I'm not sure what's going on with Rumble. We have other folks in Rumble. So, anyway, this is super fascinating. I'm going to share the both this article from the Epic Times and the from the Ghost Army website itself later, so that we can get through the rest of the show. So I've got a little list of things I want to go through, and I kind of want to go in order of what I wrote out, just because I don't want to miss anything. So one of the things that happened this week is Jimmy Carter passed away. So I think the funeral will be interesting. It started today. He's going to lay in state, and then on the 9th is the funeral. So the day after tomorrow is the funeral. And remember the last big funeral where we saw those envelopes and notes going around it at George Bush's funeral. We've already seen stuff, though, with, like, Nancy Pelosi broke her hip. And I posted a meme right before the show, or not a meme. I posted a video, and I thought it was a meme of her walking around in a walker, because, you know, with all the CGI and AI stuff, I don't know what's real anymore. You can't, it's so, you know, the AI stuff is so good, you can't even tell what's real anymore. Anyway, that's happening. I don't have anything to pull up for it, but I just wanted to call that out. Also, I think we need to stay alert because the vaccine push is happening, and they're putting out articles about looming quademic and stuff like that. So I just wanted to call that out, that's that narrative is increasing, and we need to just be vigilant and remind people of our friends and family that this will be coming, so that they don't react to it when suddenly something happens, that they were warned that that narrative is going to be out there, and then it might help with any red pilling that you need to do. So get with your friends and family, let them know that the propaganda push is starting. And then, I'm trying to think of what from what a media standpoint that I have I want to start with here. Yeah, and okay, I think I'll start with the presidential award. I cannot believe that Joe Biden gave the presidential award not only to Liz Cheney and Benny Thompson because of the J6 committee, which is ridiculous, but George Soros and Hillary Clinton? Really? It's a little crazy, and I don't know who's on that committee that recommends awards. I would really like to find out. If you guys know, will you put it in chat? Because I think we need to call those people out. You know, we're making fun of Biden and that Biden's doing this, but all the people behind him or whoever's on that committee are the ones who decided this. And, you know, Cheney, she got that award, and then she went on X, and I'm not going to give the satisfaction of reading her tweet, but she's basically doubling down on how much she has TDS, basically Trump derangement syndrome, and she's talking about how dangerous he is and all of that. She is trying to be relevant, and I don't know why she didn't get the clue when she wasn't elected. But I mean, she wasn't just not elected. Like, the person who ran against her won in a landslide. The people of Wyoming do not like Liz Cheney, but she's out there trying to be relevant. I'm curious what her next move is because I think she's sneaky and we should keep our eyes on her. But I am going to talk about the presidential medals because Steve Bannon went on a rant and it was a good one.
Room while the Republican conferences at Fort McNair are working out the critical path of how this is going to go. Biden has at the White House today is going to give the Presidential Medal of Freedom. It's the highest civilian award, the highest award your nation can bestow on somebody is being given to George Soros today. Not making that up, just announced. That's how proud of it they were. They didn't announce it 3 weeks ago or 3 months ago today.
Yeah. Yeah. Super crazy. But one of the things, let me say hello to Mike. Hey, Mike, I'm so glad you could join us. So Pocket Friend says, just my opinion, Ghost in the Machine pushed them front and center for future purposes. Pushed who front and center? If you could clarify, that would be great. That would be awesome. But one of the things, okay, so he announced, I do want to get through this stuff quickly, and I think you guys might have already seen this video. All right, so I posted about Hillary and her weight, and I'm super curious what you guys think. Do you think either she's just trying to get healthier because she was overweight, or could she be sick? Because I did a side-by-side showing her sitting at an event in September. So it was just a few months ago. And then her getting that award from Biden. Let's watch and look at the look at the difference. And I'm not trying to push any kind of conspiracy theory. I genuinely noticed it. It was very noticeable to me. I don't know if it was to you, but she's been, she's not obese, but she's been not a thin gal for many, many, many years. Let's look at this. Whoopsie. So look at her as she turned to the side and Biden's about to put that on her. She just looks tiny. She looks very tiny and fragile. So I'm curious, in just a few months, the one on the left was from September. I pulled that off of Getty Images. You can go look at September Hillary Clinton, you'll see. And then this, I've got the side shot of her in the middle here. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think either she's sick or she's gotten healthier, people lose weight. It's just that she didn't talk like you would think. If she was trying to get healthier, she would be bragging about that or talking about that. You know how they do. Anyway, so that's that. And then we've got the certification happened. And I'm trying to see. I'm going to take this screen off so I can see what this. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to pull this up. How delicious was it to see Kamala? She had to announce what Congress was certifying for president.
To the President of the Senate is as follows. The whole number of the electors appointed to vote for President of the United States is 538. Within that whole number, the majority is 270. The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes.
Okay, so he got 312. She got 220 something. There's like 80 some odd electoral votes that he won by. And I had posted, oh, he won by a landslide. Somebody on X responded to me saying it wasn't even a landslide. It was he won by 1% of the vote. And, you know, they're going to use a narrative. He won by a landslide. He has a mandate. We're going to keep reminding people that he has a mandate. But wasn't this awesome to see Kamala? So look at Mike Johnson here with his little face. So somebody did a clip and clipped out the reactions, and this was so epic. Satisfaction. In God We Trust says, it seems like she was choking back tears at the end, doesn't it? Oh my goodness. Pocket friend, I tend to reply when you ask and you don't see it till minutes later. Yeah, there is a rumble delay. So let's go back to what you were saying. You were saying, just my opinion, Ghosts in the Machine pushed them front and center for future purposes. And I asked who? And you said the award people, Hillary and Soros, etc. Thank you for following up with that. Do you think Ghosts in the Machine had anything to do with that? That's an interesting take. We'll have to chat more about that on Telegram or something. Anyway, so yeah, the certification was amazing. So happy. Mike Johnson also won his speakership, which Trump backed him up. A lot of people are against Mike Johnson. I think just because of the whole budget scenario and the fact that money still went to Ukraine and went to Israel. I don't like that either. Let's see what happens. You know, I trust Trump because, you know, even though, yes, that happened. Can you imagine we could get somebody a lot worse in? You know what I mean? Like, I think we have to be careful. So, all right. Next up, I want to talk about the Cybertruck a little bit because yeah, it's kind of interesting. So what happened with the Cybertruck? This is the truck that blew up. It wasn't a huge explosion, but it blew up in front of Trump Tower in Vegas, right? And so there's a lot that's been going on. Maybe I wonder if I should start with what was I'm going to start with this. So, first of all, Sean Ryan, I know some of you either DM'd me or you put in chat that Sean Ryan was going to talk to this guy who is an XCI analyst about what's going on with the Cybertruck situation. And as I was watching this, as I was listening to him, first of all, what he said was that, what's the guy's name that passed? Livelsberger. I'll just say Berger, Matt Berger, left a suicide note. And I'm like, And this guy is claiming that Matt Berger emailed him the day before it happened. So just there's a few things in that whole situation that are sus. One is that in here they talk about how Matt Livesberger or Livelsberger. I'm sorry, I should be able to be a little more better about that, but Livelsberger, I think it is, that his accounts suddenly had password changes on them or were changed in some way ahead of this event. And not just like minutes ahead, like days ahead. And then this guy talks about Matt as if he's an acquaintance. So now this guy is known for pushing forward whistleblowers. So don't take me wrong and think that I'm completely against this guy. I'm just questioning things. Why would Matt send this guy an email? And if he did, why would this guy wait until after the event and not try to stop him? And so that was like a first yellow flag to me. The second yellow flag was, well, I think is a red flag, is Matt's accounts changing. And then we had that video that did a close-up of the car, and you can clearly see. So what happened was the police reported that the coroner said Matt had a gunshot wound to the head, so he killed himself before the explosion, like that it was set up with a timer. Well, this video, do I have the video? I think I do. Yeah.
The footage later shows the moment.
This is the footage that shows him in the car. You can see, if you're looking right here, that's where his head and shoulder are. Right before or right when the blast, you can see like him moving. He moved his head.
Footage later shows the moment explosives were detonated, causing the truck to explode outside the
slow
Trump
motion.
International Hotel in Las Vegas.
Now we're watching it in slow motion, so you can see his outline. See the outline of him? He's clearly up and not slouched over from a gunshot wound. There was another video. I wish I would have pulled the other video because you can see his head move. And so for him to have a gunshot wound to the head is also suspicious. The other suspicious thing with this whole thing is his family was interviewed, and people in the Army and stuff, and they're shocked by this. Like his uncle said, he was highly skilled. He wouldn't be one to use fireworks and gas for an explosion. And the way around that, the narrative that this CIA guy, ex-CIA, is he ex-CIA, said that Matt didn't want to cause damage or hurt anyone. He just wanted to get attention so that they could call out all the things that are happening. I really want to know what you guys think about that whole situation. Now, this guy does support a lot of whistleblowers. So, I'm on the fence. I think it's a bit suspicious. One of the things that, and I'm not going to show who, but one of the things I posted was that all these big accounts on X, so a lot of influencers in like our movement, went on there and they thanked this intelligence dude. Now, like I said, I know nothing about him. I don't know anything about him. he has a huge following on X. But here's the other thing that's kind of interesting. This guy has a huge following on X. I might actually bring up the YouTube video because I kind of want to show you guys. So he's got, I don't know, like 500,000 followers or something like that. He's got a lot. But when Sean was interviewing him, he was doing like a bio on him. And you would think for an ex-CIA guy that likes to help whistleblowers, he deals with serious things. He must have a serious background. But part of the bio and part of even the beginning of his bio, they were talking about, Sean introduced him as why he created his X account, what the purpose was for having an X account, and to create memes. And I was just like, that's so weird. Like, if you were going to bring Mike Flynn on or McGregor or Kash Patel, would that be in their bio? About, I mean, they might talk about it later and laugh about memes, but would that be a part of their bio as an introduction? Right? I mean, I don't know. Or is it just me? So I have on here, he has a huge following. Sean Ryan's reading of this guy's bio says he created an X account to post memes and GIFs. I said, come on, you add that to a bio? I said, I'm sus and paranoid about everything because, you know, we've been dealt a lot of things. So we might get paranoid about things we shouldn't be paranoid about. But at the same time, question everything, right? The timing is really strange about all this going on, right, leading up to Trump's inauguration. And I did say, even though they have known playbooks, it doesn't mean they don't have new tricks up their sleeves. And that's one of the things that we have to be cognizant of. Yes, they have playbooks that we know that they do. But anyway, so I just wanted to say that that was questionable. I'm going to pull up the YouTube, and then I'm going to pull up one of his posts. I think this one is kind of important.
I want to give a little background on you. Retired from the Army in 2023 as a CW2 intelligence officer and understand the information war. In 2020, you were still on active duty. You started a social media account where you intended to share memes and GIFs.
You started a social media account where you intended to share memes and GIFs. And it's GIFs, by the way. I don't know. You know, a lot of people debate about if it's a GIF or a GIF, but GIF stands for graphic image file. And graphic is G. So it's a GIF. Oh, I'm going off track here. Anyway, so I found that kind of sus. And if you look at Sean, he was handed a script to read about his bio, and it was just odd how he read it. Let me back it up just a little bit and see if you guys think the same thing. Just kind of strange.
I want to give a little background on you. Retired from the Army in 2023 as a CW2 intelligence officer and understand the information war. In 2020, you were still on active.
And understand the information war. Like, I feel like this is just a script they want us to hear. Let me know what you think. If you disagree, I want to know. I like if people disagree. So, okay, I want to go to his X post. Because the other thing, so all these things together is making me suspicious. All right, here's his post. Oh, that's not it. Hang on, I got to find his post. Oh, no. Oh, shoot. Actually, would you guys be okay if... No, I didn't save it. Okay, I'm going to find it and post it. But this is the guy. Let me go to his account. Okay, I thought... No, he has 193,000 followers. But guess what? Guess what Sean did? When he called out his social media account, he called out a completely different account. He did not call out this shoe Samosaur account. He called out a different account that hardly has any followers. So that was weird to me. The other thing is that this guy, I don't know where. All right. I'm just going to tell you. He posted that he knew he'd be accused of being a globe boy. And so after the show was out, a lot of people were suspicious of him. And he said, I knew I'd be accused of being a globe boy. And then as I'm digging into some of this other stuff, there's another guy who has a podcast that I'm not going to pull up, but it seems the same way that that guy also... I feel like the CIA has some podcasts out there that they're running and potentially acting like they're a part of the movement. So, Sean Ryan, even in his bio, so he's got great shows. He's got wonderful shows. He has really good guests. Somebody in my chat called out, well, he interviewed Trump and it was great. And I'm like, yeah, it was. Some of his shows are really, really good. But at the same time, I'm going to I pulled up this picture or I took a screenshot while I was watching the video. And I'll pull this up. Part of how they describe Sean is that he's a CEO, but he's also a former Navy SEAL and a former CIA contractor. So he's worked for the CIA too. It's interesting how a lot of these people have worked for the CIA. But this whole interview just felt very staged to me. Y'all aren't telling me what you think. Oh, here. Okay, we have a few comments. Let's see. Mike, what's more disturbing to me is that he was supposedly trying to expose war crimes in Afghanistan from 2019. Trump was president at that time. Was he an MK Ultra asset used to make Trump look bad? Oh, Mike, that could be too. I was thinking he's a patsy or was set up and didn't know that explosion was going to happen. And a bullet could have been put in his head after the fact. So he was definitely alive in that truck. I mean, I don't know what you guys think about that. But you could be totally right, Mike. In God We Trust says, I don't disagree. I think this guy is totally sus. I just think we should question everything and do our due diligence and dig a little bit. Maybe I haven't had a lot of time to dig on a lot of this stuff because there's so much going on. But let me see if I have anything else on the Cybertruck. I think I might. Let me just... The guy, I think he was alive. I really do. I don't know. Okay. I'm going to move on to the next topic, and that is... this is going to be a quick one. Trudeau. So I guess there's some clarification needed. He left the party and didn't fully resign. I don't know how Canada politics works. So if you guys have more details, I will share on the screen. If not, then I just made that clarification. But this is a great meme. Johnny Mega, one of the all-time greatest photos. It's actually not a meme. You know, this is a perfect example of not a meme, by the way, for anybody doing meme wars in the future. Not a memes are actual things that you would look at and think, wow, that's a meme, but it's not. Oh my goodness. One of those is definitely like Nancy Pelosi on her walker. Um, I'm going to copy this. Actually, I can show because I've got the link for it. So this would be a good example of not a meme. It's an actual thing, and you would think somebody memed it. Oh. Anyway, that's not a meme. That's real. Okay. Next up is the whole Greenland, Canada, Trump trolling, pushing for Canada. You know, if you guys put your thoughts in chat, I really want to know what you think about that whole thing because I find it entertaining. And I know some of you are finding it a little disturbing. You don't like it. You don't like the idea. You know, I know if Canada or Greenland became a state, that would mean they get electoral votes and it could change how our elections happen today. Or the number, you know, the strategies and all that. But let's go through some of this stuff because there's nothing we can do about it. Trump has a plan, some kind of agenda. He's, you know, he's the man who wrote The Art of the Deal. He also follows The Art of War. And we're in an information war now, so I would not stress too much and enjoy the show, maybe. Get your popcorn out. It's been a little entertaining. So there have been a couple of memes. And here's one that somebody, I don't know if I pulled that off of Twitter, but it's basically everything is green. We've got Greenland, Mexico, Canada. It's like, yeah, if you're going to go for the whole continent, why not go for the whole continent? Like the trouble we have at the Mexican border, that would be shrunk down to the seas and the border with Africa or South America, I mean. So that would be a tiny border down South America. We wouldn't need a wall. Anyway, let me move on. I'm just going to go in order, so I have no idea what I'm going to be pulling up here. Trump's United States. If it will load. Oh, yes. So right before the show, Trump actually, I am not sharing my screen. I got to share my screen. All right. Trump posted this as Trump's United States. I cracked up when I saw it. He posted it, you know, just a couple hours ago. And he followed it up with Trump. He's just a master troller. Let's see. Trump's United States. Where is the other Trump one? I'm just going to go in order. This is funny. He has another one, though. This is the Canada meme I was talking about, how it's got everything, including Mexico, on there. And here's what's interesting. So Trump's been putting out this narrative about wanting Greenland. And Disclosed TV posted this. I should actually pull up the actual article. Drives me nuts when a website, like people post and they are like, click here for the article, and they do an article saying, as per whatever other news outlet, instead of just like summarizing their thoughts and putting a link to the actual news outlet that posted it. I don't know why that drives me nuts, but it does. It feels like clickbait to me. Anyway, back to Greenland. Interestingly, on January 3rd, Greenland leader calls for independence from Denmark as Trump enters. So the timing on this was super interesting. This article explains that they have a brand new international airport, and they really needed Denmark for international travel, and they don't need them anymore, and they want to get out of the grasp of Denmark. And at the same time that this comes out, then Trump starts pushing for Greenland to be the 51st state. It's just kind of interesting. And then we've got another meme here. Oh, actually, I'm going to go back to this one because, here, Jordan Sather posted this. And I'm like, I want to show his whole post because his post is the meme. So it's Trump in Greenland saying it's not even that green. And then Jordan says, false advertising, give it to me for half price. Oh, I love that. I cracked up when I saw that one. And then we've got this. Greenland. Like, as soon as we saw they were traveling there, someone in chat or someone DM'd me saying, could this Greenland thing be real? Not a joke, like they really do want Greenland? I have no idea. I have no idea. But they traveled there today. I've got more videos of that, but I didn't number these to put them in the right order. So we're just going to go through all the Greenland stuff, whatever it ends up being. So here they're holding up the American flag. He's with a bunch of Greenland citizens. What would you call them? Are they Greenlanders? Or what would they be called? And then this.
Hey everybody, we are here in Greenland right now. And
a lot of wind.
It's amazing, this thing here. It's not as cold as I thought it would be. What's happening, guys?
Not as cold as I thought it would be. I bet it was pretty cold. All right. And then this. I don't know how they would do this quickly. That's one of my questions. How was this done so quickly? Because Trump's only been joking about this for a short time. But the Danish king changes the coat of arms amid his row with Trump over Greenland. And one of the things, Pepe Deluxe, I got this from, he posted it. And he noticed that if you look over on the left is the old one, and the bottom left-hand quadrant of the flag has 3 crowns, and there are not 3 crowns on the new one. So that was pretty cool observation that he had. And I'm like, yeah, and I noticed there is no golden fringe on the old one, and there's new golden fringe. And you know how we make big deals about the American flag, whether it has gold fringe on it or not, and what that means and all of that. Anyway, that was a little interesting. And not sure what to make of it, but it's a cool thing to call out.
Okay. So, if you could tell Trump anything, what would it be?
Buy us.
Buy Greenland?
Buy us.
Greenland.
Why do you want Trump to buy Greenland?
Because we don't want to be colonized by Danish government anymore. We get ripped every year about our minerals from Greenland. We are the richest nation in the world, and we don't get to use it. Denmark's using us too.
This is not the only country that has minerals that they are not getting rich off of themselves. Where was that? Was that in Haiti? I think that's how the whole Haiti thing started. Remember when I did the history of Haiti? They are so rich in different minerals, and people that are not even a part of their country are the ones getting rich off of these minerals. It's really sad. Anyway, I'll finish this because it's short.
Do you like America?
I love America, but people are too fun over there.
People are too fun over there. Yeah. I might agree with you, mister. All right. So the Greenlanders, because I think that's what you call them, I'm not sure. But the Greenlanders seem to be all in, they're finding locals who are all excited. We'll see what happens. Then there's this meme. Oh my goodness. And that might be it for my Greenlander stuff. But I do have a couple of Canada things to pull up, okay? So bear with me while I pull up Canada. So this meme was out on Twitter. Oh, that's why I couldn't find it, because it was I had it under Canada. All right, so here's Trump's epic trolling. This is that one I already showed you. And he posted this on Truth Social. And then he posted this on Truth Social. I actually did name these so they were together. Sorry about that. So this is the United States flag that includes, it doesn't have Mexico, but wouldn't that be an odd shape of the United States? Like, what would that shape? It looks like a rabbit. Does it look like a rabbit? It looks like follow the white rabbit. That's what it looks like. Okay. Then that's it for Canada. Oh no, I've got, what is this? I don't know what this is that I'm pulling up. Yeah, I just said Trump is quadrupling down on Canada becoming a state. And do you think it's going to happen? I'm not sure if it is, but I do. I do want to read this. Many people in Canada love being the 51st state. So somebody else pointed out in chat, so I'm not going to take credit for this. But he is using not future tense, but he's using present tense, like as if it's already a part of the United States. Isn't that odd? So let's read that. Many people in Canada love being the 51st state, not would love to be. The United States can no longer suffer the massive trade deficits and subsidies that Canada needs to stay afloat. Justin Trudeau knew this and resigned. If Canada merged with the U.S., there would be no tariffs. Now he is talking future tense. If Canada merged, there would be no tariffs, taxes would go way down, blah, 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 and they wouldn't be a socialist country anymore. So that's my Canada spiel, if you will. I think, pretty soon, countries, they're going to start fighting over who gets to be the 51st state. Greenland and Canada and Mexico can all fight it out. We really should have Mexico, because then the cartels could not be cartels. Think about that. So, okay. Let's see. I don't know if I have, just going to see. Oh, I do. Okay. Then Melissa, Connecting Anons, posted this video about Zuckerberg. And it's pretty interesting. So he said that Meta is discontinuing its fact-checking initiative. So basically, like Pepe Lives Matter pointed this out, him saying that they are going to replace it with something similar to X's community notes, because that works really well. And he says, we're going to go back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes and simplifying our policies and restoring free expression. That last bit is what Pepe Lives Matter was pointing to when he said he's admitting that they took away free expression and worked with the government to do so. So, yeah, I'll pull this up and let me just pause it. I don't know. I wish the X videos wouldn't autoplay, because then it happens to me and it autoplays on mute. Do you guys have that happen to you, where websites autoplay videos on mute? It's like, what's the point of autoplay then? If you're going to mute it, now I've got to sit and fudge with it and fiddle with it to try to rewind it to see what I missed. Okay. Sorry for the rant. Let's watch this.
We're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. More specifically, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US.
Yeah, so I just posted on X and said X is now leading the way. What do you guys think about Zuckerberg kind of admitting all of that? Mike, love that thought about Mexico. I do too. Actually, I love the Mexican people. I used to live in California. I had a lot of friends. Now, the illegal stuff coming across and the nasty people is why we're so against, these open borders. And this kind of speaks to that whole debate that happened. But, America was built on people from all countries. That's why we all have, it's interesting. In all our 50 states, we have different cultures. We have different concentrations of ethnicities. I'm going to say ethnicities because there's only one race, and that's the human race. But they use the term race to divide people. But, there would be a lot of people from Italy on the East Coast in New York, or, in New Mexico, or some of the southern states might have more people from Mexico. People in Florida have people from South America. And then here in Minnesota, we have a lot of people from like Germany and Denmark, or Norway. My grandfather was 100% pure blood, came, from Norway. He had an accent. So, none of us truly had our families full ancestry here. And we are, as have been called for a long time, a melting pot. So it's not about not wanting people to come here. We just can't have everybody come here at once. We have to vet people that want to be here, and they have to love America. I have someone in my family who recently became a U.S. citizen, and he absolutely loves this country. He voted for Trump, actually. So, I think we all know people who may have either their parents or them migrated here. So, and I went off on a tangent yet again. So Stormy says, I find it interesting that Zuck is moving Meta to Texas. I didn't know that, Stormy. Breaking news. This was probably announced months ago, and I don't know. Why don't I know? I didn't know he was moving Meta to Texas. That is interesting. I think Texas might become the new hub instead of Silicon Valley. So, anyway, that's all my current events. Oh my gosh, we're already an hour in. So I'm going to give you a preview, just a little preview. We're going to do a part 2 on the fog. So what set off me wanting to talk about fog? Because really, is it that interesting to talk about? Probably not. But after Christmas, a bunch of people were going a little nuts over the fog. And this is where some shills decided to come in and get people all riled up about the fog. Now, I had posted on Telegram asking you all, did you experience anything unusual? Because, and I believe it was the week between Christmas and New Year's when it started, and then continued the week of New Year's last week. But many states across the country had fog where it was unusual for those states. And, I see. Zuckerberg mentioned it in his video today. Okay, I only saw that little clip. I didn't watch his whole thing. Obviously, there's so much going on today. And I had to get ready for the show. But But anyway, so the fog. So we had a lot of fog here too after Christmas, but for years, I always tell my friends or anybody who comments on how foggy it is, December's the foggiest month of the year. They always say that. It's always been since I was a kid, the foggiest month of the year. So it wasn't really unusual for here in Minnesota. Also, what happened here is we finally got our first snowfall, like a real snowfall, where we got more than an inch of snow and it didn't melt right away. And then it got like bitter cold, and then it got really warm. Like it was in the 30s and 40s, like the sun was shining. And what happens is if the ground or the air are different temperatures, we get fog. So sometimes the ground is super warm and it starts getting cold. And this is why December is our foggiest month of the year. It starts getting really cold, but yet the ground's still warm because maybe we didn't have a deep freeze yet. And we'll get fog. In that case, it will come from the ground. Or it could be vice versa, where the air is really warm, but the ground is frozen. Now the ground is like melting and fog is coming up from the ground rather than. But some people did report that they got fog and they never get fog. Like it's weird for that area. So I'll talk about some of your experiences, and then I want to show a couple of shill things. It is we're over an hour. So maybe I'll just talk about what we're going to talk about. And I think maybe I'll show those things when we do part 2, because it'll set the stage really good. I think it'll set good context. But basically, there are some shills putting stuff out there like, oh my gosh, being all dramatic. I've never seen anything. I'm going to show a video of someone saying they found these white balls in their yard, and really what they did. And this is what I said to someone. I said, that is wax that they melted and stuck in dirt. They're not finding stuff in their yard. That's a shill. So, kind of like with the drones, some people are saying there's UFOs and that kind of stuff. But I am going to get into some of the real concerns that we should have and watch out for, and talk about, the weird places. So Florida even got it. Like Fort Myers could not do their fireworks show for New Year's Eve, to celebrate the New Year because it was so foggy. And what's ridiculous about that in Fort Myers, Florida, is they were going to cancel and decided not to. And nobody could see the fireworks. It was so dumb, They're like, we would have wasted all this money if we didn't just go ahead and let them off. It's like, waste the money. Go save them. And then, put those fireworks, put them in storage and use them on another day. But anyway, stories like that. But some of our friends in Telegram chat actually had fogginess and then had were not feeling well after. So I don't want to dismiss that, because I think in Minnesota here it was like normal fog. But there were some odd places where the fog was happening. So we'll point those out. But really what I want to get into is the connection to some of the things that the government has been doing. We'll talk about some of the, chemtrails in the sky, but I want to just talk about actual biological warfare. And it's fascinating. It's interesting. I have some history that I'm going to go through. And I think it's going to take the whole show, the whole hour. Let me know if you would like me to do a part 2 yet this week, or if I should just schedule that for next week. Next week is going to be, on Tuesday is going to be the 14th. So the inauguration doesn't happen until the 20th. And then the following week on the 21st, I'll be covering a lot of the events around the inauguration and that kind of stuff. So maybe I'll ping you guys in Telegram chat. You can let me know what you think. 2 shows might be a lot for you guys to try to watch because I know they're long. But that's what we're going to cover on the next show. So we'll consider this part 1. I think the fog stuff in the weather modification stuff is fascinating. Some of it's not about weather modification. Some is truly about biological weapons and connecting some dots together and people that are involved in both. So maybe that's a good teaser. I hope you guys will be interested in watching that. And yeah, I don't know. So I'm sorry. I knew this was going to go long. There's a lot going on this week, but I do appreciate you joining. So that brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed going through the current events, and then we'll talk about the fog and weather modification and bioweapons in our next episode. And I hope everybody has a good evening. And this makes me think about Moxie because she always wanted me to say this and I always forgot, but keep asking those questions worth pondering. All right, guys. Love you all. Thank you all for joining. Have a good evening.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright